Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. And before we get to today's patient on the table before us, I just wanted to say thanks very much for everyone who watched my 2 videos I released on Saturday about my novel. I really appreciate that. Those videos are doing a little bit better than my videos usually do, so very much appreciated. Now, today's patient, as you see before you, is a DJI Mini 3 Pro. Now, I'll tell you right now, it's not my DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's one I'm fixing up for a friend. She had a little bit of a boo-boo. It crash landed, and the idea is we are going to fix it today. So before we do that, we gotta inspect it and see what's wrong with it. So we'll just unfold it here as best we can. Okay, now what's going on with this? Well, the problem is right there. This is the arm we're going to change out today if we can. But before we do that, let's just take another look around this unit just to be safe, or just to be sure, rather. That's all it needs. I don't see any issues here with the gimbal. That would be my main concern with a crash landing. As you saw with my Autel Lite Plus the other month or so, last year, whenever it was. Sorry guys, I'm not going to make much sense today because I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so my brain's all cattywampus. So hopefully I don't do more damage to this while I'm trying to fix it. Okay, so this arm looks fine. How about the blades? Are they fine? Or the props? I'm feeling for any damage. I don't feel any damage. There might be a little bit of a rough edge there. I don't think that would keep these props from operating. On this arm, come on, behave yourself. There is a little bit of a divot in the prop blade right there. That's getting close to what I'd recommend replacing it with. Okay, this other one. No damage at all that I can tell. Okay, now on this one, very obvious damage. So I'm going to tell my buddy he needs to put some new props on this one for sure. I'd do it for him, but he didn't supply me with any, and I'd rather not get into my stash because, well, given my track record, who knows how many crashes I'm going to have to do to deal with this year. So yeah, it looks like that's all we got going on here. He did supply me with a battery. And I wasn't keeping track there, but it does appear that this thing is working. Somewhat. It's buzzing angrily. I'm just checking out the gimbal right now. It seems to be following my movements just fine. So yeah, hopefully once we get this arm replaced, she'll be happy again. Now let me shut this off. And we're going to yank the battery because we can't do any work on it with the battery in. Now, is there an SD card here? No, there is not. Good. So we'll put that aside for now, and we're just going to get the replacement part. This is it here. I've already double checked and it is the correct replacement for the arm we want to replace. Looks like he got it from my favorite drone supply place. Been very happy with their service in the past. All 3 of the drones I bought last year were from there, I think. Pretty sure. Okay, so this is the replacement arm. We've got an orange wire here. That'll be for the antenna that's integrated in the arm. There is a connector here, probably for the LEDs. And this would be the main power for the servo motor, I think. Not sure. We'll see once we get in there. So yeah, hopefully this shouldn't be too hard of a job for me, but we'll see. You never know. I'm going to put this back away right now, and we're going to start getting this drone apart. So, what do we need to get inside this thing? Well, very small screwdrivers. And I just bought this big little screwdriver set last year. Never had the chance to use it yet, but it's got something like 107 something, or no, 142 different little pieces to it, so hopefully it's half decent. So we gotta figure out which little bit we gotta use for this. And I know it's Torx. Just don't know what size. We'll try T5. Got it in one. Awesome. So yeah, you're going to need a Torx T5 to get inside one of these things. So we will remove some screws here. I will just double check with this other arm here. Maybe we don't have to replace the whole arm. This screw is missing from the new arm, so we have to take it out anyway. There we go. Why that was missing, I'm not sure. I don't think it's loosened up, and at any rate, we've got to get inside here anyway, so we shall continue. It would be nice if this was magnetized, but apparently it is not. Okay, so that screw's different from the one we took out, so keep that in mind. And of course, that's the same type of screw. Let's see, what else? You want to be gentle with these, so don't pry too hard on anything. Some of these are not Torx at all. Interesting. And by interesting, I mean fairly weird. Did I even have to remove those screws? I don't know. I'm going to set my T5 down there, and I'm going to try and find the Phillips head they want me to switch to now. There's got to be Phillips heads in here somewhere. And yes, there are. I'll try 00. Got it in one again. Okay, now we're dealing with that. Obviously not compatible with any of the screws we just took out. So you got to make sure you note exactly where these screws go. I am attempting to put them down in exactly the right place for the drone. Now, what else do I need to do before I can get into this thing? Maybe that's it. I tend to doubt it, but maybe that's it. Don't really see any other spaces for a screw to be hiding, really. So maybe that's it. Okay, next I'm going to go at it with one of these guitar pick looking things. See if I can get inside the main housing here. Okay, DJI, how did you put this together? Inquiring minds want to know. I think I need a flashlight, actually. You'd think I'd be better prepared for this kind of thing. But no, not so much. Yeah, half the fun is figuring out exactly what to do to get these things apart. And I see a couple more screws now, and they're really down in there. I don't know if you can see it, but you see that one down in there way past the gimbal? Yeah, that's what we're dealing with, I guess. All right, let's see if I can get in there. Try and make sure I can get this on camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I got one of them. And again, we have yet another different type of screw, so keep track of them. And there's one more I gotta get at. With my apologies to Mr. Gimbal. And it would be good if I could see what I'm doing here, so let me get my flashlight again. Sorry I can't get this one on camera. It's a little bit too hard to access and still get it on camera. But nonetheless, I got it. Okay, so how are you being held together, Mr. Drone? I really hope I can get this fixed for him. My Mini 3 Pro has been very, very helpful to me already. It's just the hard part is trying to get into this case here. It's probably clipped together, which is why I'm using this little spudger here. Or at least why I'm trying to use it. Ah, here we go. Want to be careful around there though, because that's where the obstacle sensors are. Definitely don't want to damage those, because yeah, not so good if those fail. Okay, I think we're making progress here finally. I got something released anyway. All right, now we're making progress. Sort of. We did get it unlatched in a couple of spots. Okay, there you go. We got the cover off. And I'll just show you what we're dealing here. I told you not making sense today, am I? Anyway, I'll show you what we're dealing with here. There's a couple of catches here where the card slot is. And if you go all the way around, there's catches everywhere that look like that. And yeah, just take your time, go slow, nice and gentle. And I'll tell you what I had to use for tools. I ended up having to grab this little guy out of the toolkit. It's sort of a plastic crowbar type looking deal. And I also used this big black thingamajigger on the sides. I found it a lot easier to use this than this or the guitar pick looking things. So yeah, we're finally inside the unit, so maybe we can see how to fix it now. I'm just taking a little look here. Just trying to determine how it's put together. I'm guessing we're probably going to have to take the main board off at the very least, because I don't see where to solder in the new connections yet. So yeah, hopefully we can get this done. So I see a couple of screws to remove. I don't know exactly if I should remove those. Lots of teeny tiny little connectors too, while we're at it. But we are not getting anything done by just sitting here looking at it, are we? So I will do what I usually do and start removing connectors, hoping they're the right ones that allow me to get inside the unit further. Okay, we've got another 2 screws here to keep track of, and we're going to use the top cover to organize them. Don't know that I really need to do that, but whatever. I'm guessing there's something I'm missing here because that is not coming up easy. Oh wait, maybe it is. Okay, we got some thermal interface material to be aware of, and it looks like I unplugged something without necessarily meaning to. Yes, there's a connector there, right there, that'll be friction fit, so we should be able to get that reinstalled. And then we've got this little keeper here. Let's see if I can grab it. That holds in some other connections. There you go. Keep track of that too. I'm going to put that with those screws I just removed. So yes, you can see all of the little antenna connectors here. for each of the 4 arms. So it's the orange one we're dealing with, so we're going to have to unplug that. And I'm concerned because I can't exactly see where the solder connections go for the motor. I do see another connector I've got to remove, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do when I put this back together is I'm going to reapply thermal interface material, and I'm going to use my good stuff rather than this stuff. I'm not sure I'm liking it, so yeah, that's the plan. I'll have to go and track it down. I don't know where I used it last, but now this is where I start regretting not letting my fingernails go long. Okay, so I got that one unplugged. You can see right there. And we've got a couple others we got to deal with here, because I'm fairly certain I'm going to have to remove this entire board in order to get access to the stuff I need to get access to. So, are these friction fit, these connectors? That's my main area of concern right now. I can hardly see these little guys, let alone deal with them. Well, this one is the same type of connector as these two are, so we can just pull that one off, theoretically. Yes, that's exactly how that works. This one, I don't know. I don't think it's that same type of connector. It could be. We might be able to leave it in place, however. And if that is the case, then I will be happy about that. And we've got another screw to take out, it looks like, right down here. That's a Torx. How much you want to bet it's not the same size as the other ones? Oh, it is, actually. Never mind. And we'll put this in the cover as well. Is the board loose? Good question. Yes, it is. I think it is. Maybe it is not. Okay, what I'm going to do right now, just while I'm thinking about it, is disconnect this orange antenna lead, if I can just get something in there to do it. I think it's glued in, so just getting it out might be a challenge. Fortunately, I've got my handy dandy dental picks. There, we got that one out. Hopefully I can fairly easily get in there to clean off the glue so we can get the new connector on there. These are very small connectors, so we don't want anything interfering, like little old beads of old glue, like so. Okay, am I missing anything here? anything at all. I don't think so, but you never know. We are doing some surgery today, I'll tell you what. I don't think we've got anything that's hanging up, preventing us from taking this out. But I could be wrong. Don't see why she wouldn't just come out right now, though. But it's always good to be very patient and double check everything. What is still holding you in? Unless it's this connector, which I haven't disconnected. Yeah, that is definitely not the same type of connector. Or maybe it is. It's just really hard to tell. I am getting old after all. Oh, yeah, it does come off the same way. The exact same way. I think, anyway. Yeah, it's just press fit. Just like the others, only slightly different. Now can we get this board out? No, of course we can't. It's got to fight us some more. Oh, I see. This little arm has two little places to put screws, so I'm going to take out the other screw as well. That seems slightly important. Of course, the screw doesn't want to come out. Why would it? Just because I'm asking nicely. Now, what is going on with this thing that it won't come out? It's taped or glued down, I think. Yes, I do believe that is the case. So I'm going to try to work it loose. And I had better stop right there because I'm doing damage. I hope I can get this thing back together and working at this point. So how do they intend you to get this thing apart? That's the question. They probably don't intend to let you take it apart, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I think the problem is we've got some wires running to all that stuff below the main board, so yes, that is not exactly the best idea, prying that up. Yeah, I think maybe we've got to take the top cover off now. So I'm going to do that the same way, or try to do that the same way as before. And it looks like with those two screws out, all you got to do is work the arm off. But now we've got to get in there at the electrical connections, which obviously we can't right now, so yeah. This is fun. We are having lots of fun. Now the owner isn't too worried about whether or not I cause permanent damage to this, because I think he's resigned himself to the fact that he's going to have to get a new drone anyway, but yeah, I'm still trying to save it, if I can. Okay, I see where the wires to solder go now, and they go on this little front board down in here, so we've got to remove that somehow. Some way. It looks like a barrel of laughs to get at that, because I think you got to go right in through here to do it. There's a bunch of screws down in there. With some other connectors that are glued in. Great! So yeah, I'm going to have to get in there with a screwdriver and try to get those out, and maybe we'll try and avoid having to take any more of that board out, because I really don't want to deal with that board anymore. Okay, these screws are a little different. They've got a little washer on the machined onto them. There is blue thread blue thread locker on those things, but I don't think it's necessary to put thread locker back on. We just want to put thread locker back on the arm screws. Or rather, even that's probably not critical. Okay, so I got those screws out. Do I need to do this other one down at the bottom yet? And yes, probably I do. Or maybe I don't. I think I do kind of need access to the underside there. But I'm a little nervous about that because there is a ribbon cable going up over top of the inside of this little plate here. So I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad one. Probably a bad one given my luck. But I did take those screws out, so... Or rather, I took screws out. I don't know if I took them all out because this is a little irritating. So I'm going to try and get that cover off and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I got the top cover off, and as I feared, we do have a little piece of wire going across there. So I hope this works again after I'm done. I am really not sure about this anymore. But yeah, that's glued on there, so there's no getting it off without prying this whole cover off. And I'm betting DJI DJI depends on you having to just replace all of this crap after you get in here. But yeah, now we do have access. And here are the downward sensors. Or wait. Well, something like that. I think these are the sensors, and these are downwards facing IR LEDs. So yeah. I don't know, I get the feeling we're going to have to end up taking this whole dang thing apart just to get at this arm so we can replace it. But yeah, in order to get this top cover off, you have to pry these covers loose first. And then they come off from this end and hook in at the bottom here. As you can see, I ended up breaking one of the little clips here, so that clip isn't going to do clippy things anymore, unfortunately, along with the one in front of it. And this other one over here, so actually they're all broken. Great. Just delightful. It should still hold itself together because it's got these two clips on the end here that slot in underneath this piece. And it's got the 2 screws in front, so it should still work, I think. Depends on what happens with those wires. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it like this now, and I'm going to try to finish this job in some possible way. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But yeah, we are having a great amount of fun on this. No, not really. So yeah, it looks like there are still a few strands holding on back there, that wire, so hopefully that does the trick. It may not. I'm putting these screws in a separate location from all the others just so I can remember where they go. They are all the same, it would appear. So what have we got going on now? And yes, I do have access to those connectors I need to access now. You can just see them right down in there. So yes, both covers do need to come off, and you do need to at least remove the sensors just so you can get access here. But it looks like we don't have to go any further with the main board. That's good. We do, however, need to pull that little board that's sitting vertically in there out. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to do that now. Will it come out the top or the bottom? I am attempting to determine that. It looks like it might come out the bottom, so we've got some more screws to take care of. I've got 4 more on this little plastic piece here, and then there's another screw I got to get at from the inside again. Fortunately, we're still using the same T5 Torx socket, or bit, whatever. And that screw did not want to come out gently, because why would it? If I ever have to do this on my drone, I don't know if I'm going to want to. I'll just tell you that right now. This is a bit of a pain. And by a bit, I mean a huge pain. Come on, Mr. Screw, get out. Okay, so our little plastic carrier should be removable now. Watch the screw go flying off somewhere who knows where. No, seriously, I can't find it now. Great. Well, I'm just going to have to look for that later. And by later, I mean right now. I didn't really see where it flew, so... And I don't relish the idea of putting this back together until I find that screw, so we're going to have to find it sooner or later. I might do that off camera once we're done this part of the adventure. So, can I get this last screw out? Perhaps I can. Oh, found it. I knew it would turn up. There you go. Okay, and this is the board that the battery plugs into, so I guess that makes sense as to why the motors would be soldered into that. All right, now can I get that board out? Good question. Well, first of all, let me see where the broken arm is. Okay, it's on this side facing you guys. So the connector I want to disconnect would be this one right here. I'm just going to double check, and yes, that is the correct one. I have unplugged it. And it looks like the power wires run right over top of here and down to that board. So I've got to get that board out so we can solder on it. But yes, the board is loose. I think it's ready to come out. I'm not sure. We may have to disconnect the other arm before we even start trying to get that board out, because there is a ribbon cable that goes back around on this side here. And I'm just trying to figure out exactly how they intend anyone to service this. Where does that ribbon cable even go? Probably up to the main board. I gotta say, God help you if you have to replace any arm on this side, because that ribbon cable down in there, I don't know how you would ever get that out to solder in a new arm. So yeah, I'm gonna have to free up some wiring here and unplug this other side here, because I don't see any other way to do this. Sorry if I had you off camera there for a minute. I'll zoom out as far as possible so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Problem is, it's just really hard to see anything on this. All of these wires are glued in and soldered. So good luck dealing with them. Okay, I got those ones freed up. Okay, and what shall we do with the antenna cable, which is glued in down there? We shall pull it apart, apparently. Great. I'm going to have to get down in there and dig the rest of that cable out. Fortunately, we're here to replace that cable, so not that big of a deal. Alright, I got it, but it's going to be just a blast trying to get this cable out now, and routed the new one anyway. Just trying to get this cable remnants out of here. There you go, we got one out. Now we just got to get this arm out and replaced, don't we? Okay, so we should be able to get the battery board off now. Or at least out, not off. Why did I ever agree to do this job? Don't ask me. Yeah, all four arm motors are soldered in on this side of the board, and we've got to get access to that, so yeesh. I am not liking my chances of fixing this anymore. Just come on up enough so I can solder on ya. That's all I'm asking. Theoretically, I can do the job now if I can just get access to the solder pads. And we've still got one that's being held on with glue. Terrific. That's why it's not coming up so easy. There we go. Oh boy. Can I solder that now? It's gonna be very difficult. I think I can, but yeesh. So we're gonna pull the, at least start pulling the arm off now. And we're gonna have to get in there and take this hinge off. Ain't that delightful? Because yeah, I can't get the wires out with that in the way. So let's take off some more screws, shall we? Speaking of cameras, I ordered a new one today. Nothing special. I decided to go for my first action cam, so I can take you guys with me on hikes to Banff and other such places. Okay, there, we got that little connector out. Now we just got to deal with these wires. And this, I have a feeling, is going to require me to do entirely off camera, because look at what I got to work with there. Yes, the wires I need are all on top, but they're all glue protected and just an absolute nightmare to get at with a soldering iron. I'm going to have to melt my way through the glue with the iron, I think. Because we got a bunch of electronics down there to deal with. Part of me is very tempted to just cut these wires and then splice the new wires in that way with heat shrink. But given the tight space inside this thing, I don't know if that will work at all, so that could be a bad idea. Okay, guys, I think I'm ready to try soldering on those wires, so I'm going to have to do this entirely off camera. So I'm going to shut you off now, and hopefully when I come back, we'll have a new arm on this thing. Okay, so status update. I got the new arm on, but not without issues. We might have serious issues now, actually. Just trying to rearrange this so it's not quite so fragile. First of all, I had this screw break off when I tried to tighten it. So the arm is on, but it's only being held by one screw. And as far as this goes, problems. As you can see, I ended up doing the heat shrink idea on these two wires, and that's because this wire fought me like crazy just trying to get access to the solder pads in there to solder on. So I decided, after fighting with the white wire, I wasn't going to bother with the red and black ones. I just cut them and spliced them and went with a heat shrink. So I hope that works, because this heat shrink is not quite small enough to get the job done. But it seems to be fairly secure on there, so I think it'll work. Now what's left is I have to reroute this antenna wire back to the main board. I gotta reinstall everything and hope to God this thing works after it's done, because guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want to do another one of these drones. I just don't. This was just nightmarish. I'm gonna say out of a scale of 10, it's like 923 out of 2. So yeah, if you've got one of these drones, I would suggest not bothering to try to fix it yourself, even if you're experienced like I am, because Lord have mercy, this was tough. And as you can see, there was a little boo-boo here involving the soldering iron that melted this plastic, but that is the least of my worries right now. My worries right now is whether or not I can get this back together and functioning. So I'm going to do all of that off camera because it's just too much of a pain to deal with right now. Let me see if I can do that, and I'll be back with you when we're ready for testing, if we're ever ready for testing. Okay, I'm just about ready to put the this little piece back on, and I thought I'd bring you with me on this journey of reapplying thermal grease. I'm not really a fan of the blue stuff DJI used before because they used way too much of it, but yeah, we're going to get this back together using Arctic Silver MX4, which is what I use for everything. And it's important to note that you got to put grease here, 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 and also here and here. We want grease on those 2 points as well, so let's do that now. Doesn't take much at all. And that should just about do it for those two, or for that area. And this is overkill for both of these parts, but no matter. This stuff is not conductive, so don't worry about it. At least it shouldn't be conductive. I'm going to try and wipe the excess off. Getting my hands nice and dirty as I do so. And I'm not going to bother spreading this stuff around. The pressure of the heat sink coming down will do that for us. And we've got one more connector to apply, and then hopefully we can get this back together. And I'm going to do that off camera as well, because yeah, this is a little cramped around here. All right, guys, I think we got her done. Maybe. I'm not real thrilled about my chances here, but we got all the covers back on. We got everything back in place, except for that one ribbon cable underneath, which we can't do anything about. It might still work well enough to behave itself for the owner. It might not. Let's find out. I want you to keep your eye on this. If it fires up properly, that should twitch. If it doesn't twitch, well, I guess we got a problem here. So, battery going in. Battery going in the right way. Let's turn this around real quick. Still showing a proper battery indicator, so maybe we got lucky with this one. I saw it twitch. And we've got LEDs. Might have gotten off lucky with this one. Gimbal is once again tracking. Now I would fire this up, but unfortunately the owner did not give me the controller that goes with this, so I can't do anything about that. So he's just going to have to let me know how this worked out for him. I have serious doubts that I even got this back together properly, but it does appear to be working. Now the screw on here is still broken. Nothing I can do about that. However, the arm seems fairly stable, so it should hold with just the one screw in it. There's just no way for me to deal with this without replacing the entire hinge as well, so. And even if I do replace the hinge, how could I get this arm back off again? Because there's enough of a stub on that screw sticking out to make it really difficult. So hopefully this works. Maybe I got a little more time out of it. I don't know. Anyhow, I think that's going to be it for today. In terms of future projects, I've got a bunch of parts on order. I have all new rubbers coming for the RCA VCR, so we're going to probably do that first. I haven't yet ordered the new gear for the Sony boombox, but I'm hoping to do that in fairly short order. And yeah, so got lots of stuff to do. I've still got a big Sony open reel tape deck that I got to work on. That's going to be a nightmare in itself, but yeah, I'm saving all the hard stuff for last, apparently. So yeah, hopefully I've got a new action cam coming, and we can go have fun in Banff at some point during this spring. I don't know how that's going to work. Money's kind of tight, but if I can get out there, I'll get out there, and we'll have some adventures. And hopefully this guy will be having some adventures. Anyway, that's it for now. Take care.